they'll say, in continuing this transmission, we would like to thank every one of you for the conversations you are creating, for you are, in these dialogues, bringing up very powerful issues and ideas that are going far beyond the room you are in, to others listening in, who are, in that sense, learning from your experiences in a variety of ways. So regardless of what each and every one of you may individually feel you are or are not getting out of these interactions, please believe us when we tell you you are having a profoundly beneficial, beautiful effect on many other beings who are part and parcel of this interaction that may not be visible to you, who applaud your willingness not only to share of your experiences, but also your willingness to have placed yourself in an experience of such profound depth and profound process. None of what you experience in your life in any way, shape, or form goes to waste. There are many, many whose lives will be profoundly changed by what you yourselves have been willing to experience in your earth incarnations over thousands of years. We applaud your strength. We applaud your willingness to experience limitation. We applaud your willingness at times to experience profound darkness or confusion. We extend to you our deepest thanks and appreciation for the service you are providing to many others within creation by your choices. On that, let us continue the remainder with sharing and exploration together.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Have you a good day. I'm a little worried because my English is a little bit not that strong as other people.
All right.
And my question also personal, so also that's one reason I worry.
Take your time so that everyone may hear what you have to share. Just relax.
Okay. Well, this is also my first class here, so maybe also question will be maybe a little bit different because
doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, basically, I would like to share my situation that I experience in a personal relationship with one person.
Keep it brief.
And the problem, I been in a relationship for like over 12 years.
Yes.
And I don't understand, it's kind of back and forth. So basically, I don't know how to finish circle. So the question is like, should I change my belief and finish circle in which way? Basically, to stay in the relationship or not.
What you simply always have to decide is whether or not the relationship is still something that can serve you and serve the other person by continuing in the form that it is continuing. You have to allow yourself to understand what relationships are for. Relationships are for each person in the relationship to reflect to the other what they need to know to become more of who they are. If you believe in any relationship that you have arrived at a point where you are not really serving each other, where you are not allowing each other to grow, where the vibrations in both of you are incompatible in that way, then perhaps the best thing you can do for a relationship is to let each other go so that you can attract yourself to individuals with whom you really need to interact and allow yourself to find out more of who you are. If in discussing it with each other you believe there is still learning and growth that can occur from it, then by all means you can decide to allow it to continue, but communication is the key. If there is not clear communication about what each individual in the relationship is in the relationship for, and not clear communication between the individuals about the idea that they are there to learn more of who they each are about themselves, to grow, then if there is not clear communication, you are not really in a relationship anyway.
Okay, well, the problem I think I'm really grow in this relationship because each time I interact with this person, he teach me something, and I'm teaching this person too. But this thing that like we're not like a couple, like I mean we're not married, but we've been like on and off in a relationship dating, and another thing when we're basically not together, we're learning from other relationship either. So the question we don't know if we need to continue together learn or like keep.
It is not an issue of need. It is simply an issue of choosing what you prefer. If the definition of what is going on in the relationship is a definition of what you prefer in a relationship, keep going. If the definition of the relationship and what is going on in the relationship is not the definition that you prefer, change it. It's as simple as that. You have to decide what the definition is that you prefer. We understand you can always get something out of a relationship. You can always learn. But you are also allowed to choose a definition of a relationship that you prefer. And if it has some things that you prefer, but some things you don't, you may have to understand that in an overall sense, it may not be a relationship that you prefer, unless you prefer the back and forth.
No, really, that's the. I'm confused because I prefer to be with one person and basically grow together and not to like on and off, you know, type of.
Then if that is what you are making as a statement of your preference, you have answered your own question. Find an individual with whom you can share a relationship that is of a definition you prefer a relationship to be. And if you don't prefer the on and off, that's not the relationship you prefer. And it doesn't mean that you will not necessarily stay in contact, but if that's not the way you prefer a primary relationship to be, if a primary relationship is what you want, then you have to understand and hear yourself that you have now defined what you prefer. Allow yourself to make room for it in your life so that you can attract it. Because if you don't make room for it, you won't attract it. You understand?
Okay.
Does that help you?
Well, so I should not consider in the situation like this other person opinion, like, I mean, the person with whom I am, like, I mean, he kind of like it, keep it the way he wanted, so.
Is that what you prefer? No.
No, yeah.
Then what else is there to say? Again, if you have communicated with the other person what it is you prefer in a relationship, if they want something different, there is obviously an incompatibility in your preferences. So if you decide that what you prefer is different than what they prefer, you have to do what is best for you and let them decide for themselves what is best for them. If they have attracted themselves to you and you prefer something different, then they must deal with the fact that they've attracted themselves to someone who does not want what they want. And by letting them go, you give them the opportunity, whether they understand it now or not, to find someone they would in that sense be more compatible with. They may think they want to keep what they have with you, but what they're actually saying is they prefer something that you don't prefer. So let them find someone who prefers the same thing they do. Just as you will find someone who prefers the same thing you do. Does that make sense? That's actually how you help each other. Because again, remember, as I said, that's what relationships are for. Sometimes, if what you prefer and the other person prefers are too different, then the best thing you can actually do to help each other in the relationship is let each other find another relationship that works for them best.
Oh, okay, but there seems like a problem still for me. I understand this point very much. Thank you very much. But seems like this person just won't continue only with me, this type of relationship. Means like he want me to be his friend, to care for him, you know, to feel for him. He doesn't care other people care for him. He want
what's
me.
the difference?
So if
what's
I go,
the difference?
No, because if I go to other, he coming back, you know. So he doesn't let me go to and keep other.
There is no such thing as someone not letting you go. You choose to stay.
Oh, because when you care for somebody, you kind of like.
That's my point. Understand the definition of what it means to actually care for someone. If you actually care for him, you will do what is best for both of you. And that means you will find what works for you. And even if it's not something that he immediately enjoys, you are giving him a chance to actually go and find what works best for him, even though he may not understand that. Regardless of what he says he wants, if you understand that that's not what's best for him and not what's best for you, do what's best for both of you, not what he thinks he wants. You understand the difference? Does that help you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Very good. The closer I get to this chair, the more emotional I get.
Oh, all right. That can be a good thing, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And to you, good day.
Good. Thank you. Hello. This is kind of a burning question.
Oh, a burning question.
Yeah, and it feels important to say that. And
All right.
it's and
Shall I have some water ready?
yeah, maybe, maybe. And it's really great that it's on the heels of this, what you said to this this last girl too. I think it kind of dovetails in, but
All right.
takes it a little bit bigger. And the question that I have is, I wrote it down, so I'm going to read it because I wanted to word it right.
By all means.
Okay. How would one begin a dialogue about peace with another who fervently believes that martyring themselves or killing is the way to God?
All right.
What is the entry point where an alignment can begin?
The entry point is, well, of course, it might be different for different individuals, you understand.
Yes.
However, in general, our perception would be that the entry point is in the definition of God. A discussion of a definition of what they believe God to be. You will find in many cases, of course, that the kind of people that you are talking about may be in such states of denial that you can't necessarily actually have what you would consider to be a logical or intelligent conversation with them.
Exactly.
Nevertheless, part of that is also allowing yourself to realize that may mean that you never will. And therefore, it may not necessarily be something you will do.
Well, that's okay.
That's the first thing to recognize,
Okay.
is that you may never be able to open up a dialogue, or even if you do, to reach them in any way. That's the first step in any kind of dialogue, is doing it without an agenda of needing to reach them or needing them to change. You follow me? Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
I understand that's very difficult for many of you. Nevertheless, you actually give your point more power by not needing your point to have power.
Oh, so you're not trying to convince them of anything.
You can't convince anyone of anything anyway. Can you?
No. But,
Thank you.
But we certainly do in this society have an
You
urge
certainly
to do that.
try, yes. This is the idea of trying to control reality. You don't need to do it. Now, we understand that it may be beneficial to make an attempt to open up a dialogue with certain people who may have a way of doing things that's not necessarily very compatible to the preservation of life.
Right.
Nevertheless, they may not be, in their own reality, capable of even understanding you. You follow me?
Yeah, I do. And here, see, we're talking about paradox a few moments
Yes.
ago, and this is an ultimate paradox in our
Yes.
in our society
Yes.
that we're experiencing right now with
Yes.
the conflicts that are going on.
Nevertheless, for those that might harbor a willingness to communicate with those that they hate, you can perhaps find some crack to open in a conversation, as we said, with the idea of the definition of God. However, you might also be under the mistaken assumption that they do what they do under the auspices of faith, when in fact they may be saying that,
Exactly.
and it may have nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
So the approach we are suggesting really only has to do with those that are reachable on that level. And the idea being that if you can both agree to an idea or a definition of what God is, and can come around to the common understanding that it is truly a vibration of unconditional love, and that acting in any other way is obviously antithetical to that, and in opposition to that vibration, then you might form the foundation of the basis of a further dialogue, if you can even get that far.
That far, exactly.
However, this is why we say it isn't really about changing anyone else's mind. It's really just about changing yourself and allowing yourself to put into place those ideas, those implementations, those institutions that represent the vibration of the world you prefer to live in, so that when you make a shift yourself, you yourself will wind up in a world where those individuals who are incompatible with it will simply no longer exist. In that sense, I'll put it in what you would call a space-time linear kind of pragmatic way. Mm-hmm. Let's just talk about it from an incarnational point of view. Mm-hmm. Now, again, as we say, everything exists simultaneously. So it is not really reincarnation, it is multiple simultaneous incarnations. However, from the linear experience, let's say that one way you could experience the idea is that as you generate more and more energy and do more and more things that are compatible with the world that you prefer to live in, a world of peace, a world of creativity, and a world of joy, the people that do not resonate to that frequency will no longer be born into your world. And bit by bit, they will die out. You follow me? Mm-hmm. And they will not come back to your earth. They will go to another earth, another parallel reality earth, if they reincarnate. They will not come to yours. And so bit by bit, you will think your world is changing. You will think they are changing. But in a sense, they are not, unless they actually choose to. But if they don't change, it doesn't mean you will continue to experience them beyond a certain point, as long as you continue to add your vibration to the world of a world that is representative of what you prefer. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't make an attempt to open a bridge and a link and a dialogue, because that in and of itself is an action that represents the kind of vibration of the kind of world that you prefer to be in. Mm-hmm. All we are saying is, it is the action that you take in that direction that will make a difference in the world you ultimately experience, whether they change or not.
Right.
That's not the point. That's why you don't need to go in with an agenda. You know that your actions alone in that direction are sufficient to make a difference, no matter what they choose to do. And that's the power of having no point to make.
Wow.
Make sense? Mm-hmm. You do it because that's who you are, because that is who you are, because that's the behavior that represents the world you would like to live in. And it isn't about what they choose to do. It's only about the actions that you take.
That's very powerful.
Thank you.
There's one more aspect to
Yes.
that question, though.
Yes.
If what's going on in our world, conflict-wise, and our transformation from dark to light,
Yes.
if there is a segment of our world who is reflecting to us this darkness,
Yes.
and these primal urges that,
Yes.
that we're transcending,
Yes.
then it's reflecting also to us those two parts that are within us that are in conflict as well.
They are reflecting to you things that you definitely contain. They don't have to be in conflict within you just because you contain them. You could have made peace with them within yourself a long time ago.
With them within myself, but what about the part of me that is in my dark side that's in conflict
No, that's
with
what
my
I'm
light?
saying. you can either have the peace within you that is still in conflict, or you can have that peace within you that is no longer in conflict. It can be either way.
Like, in other words, you're saying, let me see if I got this right. You're saying that when it's within us, just like what this whole workshop is about discovering beliefs and emotions and issues
Yes.
that are no longer preferred,
Yes.
right, basically.
Yes.
That we have tools that, as the person who is preferring to change,
Yes.
can utilize to transform that energy. Whereas if it's that conflict in the Middle East,
Yes.
where someone may not necessarily be willing to communicate or change where they're coming from because they may be covering it up with another revenge item or whatever
Yes.
it is,
Yes.
that's a little different because we're not in charge of changing that preference with them.
No.
We're in charge of changing it within ourselves.
Of course.
And they're reflecting some of these things to ourselves to make it more possible for us to make choices.
Yes, and
which
you
is
can
of
make
value.
those choices and still allow them to make their choices, even if their choices are different than yours.
Right. But we don't have to, in order to transcend our personal issues, change them.
No, and
It's
you can't.
you can't. It's impossible.
This is why it is so perfect that everyone is autonomous. Because it isn't reliant on anyone else that you change and grow. It's only reliant on you.
Which is important, because if there are people that feel that in order to bring peace, we've got to change the terrorists or those who do not agree.
Yes,
and,
I know.
This is big. This is really
Yes.
important.
And again, you can always make the attempt to open up a dialogue, but the point is, it is the attempt that makes
that
the
will
difference.
make the difference and will lead us to peace.
Yes.
Because we will gather together those people who really want peace,
Yes.
and they'll so way outnumber the ones that are not willing to
Let me
go
give
there.
you also an example of something we have talked about before, and perhaps this will shed a different kind of light on another way in which something like this can occur.
Uh-huh.
We have, in the recent past, said, and at this point, as we sense the energy that exists at present, find that nothing has really changed yet, we have said that there is a 98% probability that there will be some sort of terrorist nuclear strike in the Middle East. You understand?
I'm afraid I do, but I don't remember hearing this.
All right. Well, I'm telling it to you now.
Okay.
Here's the point of this. I'm not saying it has to happen. It can still change. The point is, if it does, it is going to cause such a backlash around the world that I guarantee you the response to it will be that it will never happen again. So even out of something that you would call horrific,
Yes.
can come accelerated peace by throwing in everyone's face something unavoidable that they must look at and come to a decision about and make changes about immediately, so that they will then realize they must take action in some way, shape, or form that is positively constructed to prevent that from ever happening again. So even if it happens, it can still actually allow peace to accelerate.
Is there anything we can do to more turn the tide on that? That we can do to make sure that doesn't happen?
The attempt to express love for your enemy.
Yeah.
The attempt to express understanding is what counts.
You know what?
The attempt to express that you understand they are a part of God, even though they may not understand you are a part of God. The attempt to express the idea that if God is as vast and incomprehensible as they protest it is, that the idea is that God also created you. And if God created you as different from them, God must have had a reason in its wisdom for doing so. These are all, shall we say, the foundations of the beginnings of dialogues, but again, It is simply the putting out of the information and the behavior, the action that you take that makes the difference. Whether they respond positively to it or not is really up to them. But if you are clever, you may find a way to strike a chord within them if you study and understand what they are all about and why they do what they do. Then that's going to have to be left up to you. But I shall read you something now.
Yes.
This is a passage from what you call a Bible, but it's not the Bible that exists in your reality.
Okay.
It's a Bible that exists in a parallel reality earth where this prophecy is actually something in that Bible. It isn't in yours, but it's in this one.
The prophecy you're going to tell me about.
The prophecy I already told you about.
Oh, this one. The one we
Yes.
just discussed about
Yes.
the nuclear
I am just
thing.
sharing with you on a variety of levels some of the differences between parallel realities to illuminate several points at once. And in one parallel earth reality, their Bible actually has this prophecy, whereas yours does not.
Oh.
And lo, those with hate in their hearts did call upon the God of fear, and rained down fire and brimstone upon the holy city, and it was utterly consumed. And there arose thereafter such a hue and cry in the land, that those were cleansed away who caused this to be done.
You're going to have to say that slower. Can you read slower? Because I
Yes.
really want to get it down before 3 months passes.
And lo, those with hate in their hearts
Yes.
caused to be rained down fire and brimstone
To be-
upon
wait a
the
minute, rained
holy
down.
city.
That's right.
To be rained down
To be rained down
upon fire and brimstone
Brimstone.
upon the holy city.
upon the holy city. Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
And thereafter the people did rise in such a hue and cry.
And thereafter.
Are you writing this
Yes,
down?
I am. People did rise
With such a hue and cry
with such a hue and cry
that those that caused this to be happened were cleansed away.
that those that caused this to happen
Were cleansed away.
were cleansed away. That's it?
No.
Okay.
They were cleansed away.
They're cleansed away.
It does not mean what it means in your reality.
Wow.
But do you understand the first part of it?
And lo, those with hate in their hearts caused to be rained down fire and brimstone. That's the nuclear thing.
Yes, upon the holy city.
Upon the holy city. So it was put on, it was shot at Jerusalem.
Yes.
Okay?
The single city that represents all three religions in conflict.
Right. Upon the holy city, Jerusalem, and thereafter.
It does not say Jerusalem in
I
this
know,
Bible.
I
It
know.
just says the holy
city.
city.
I inserted Jerusalem.
Yes.
But I won't if I use this. And therefore the people did rise with such a hue and cry. Hue is H-U-E, hue, like color?
Yes.
Okay. That those that caused this to happen were cleansed away. I'd like to use this. I can use this, right?
All right.
I just don't have to say it's from the Bible on a parallel reality. I can just say... I can say
You might get some
anonymous.
raised eyebrows at that.
I can say anonymous.
All right.
Because it's very powerful.
Yes.
Very, very powerful. Thank you very
One
much.
moment.
Okay.
One moment. One moment. One moment. In this context, cleansed away in that reality means all were gathered up and placed in isolation, where they eventually eliminated themselves. Are you still writing?
Yes, of course I'm writing. Eventually.
I see.
I can't remember this.
It is rare to find one whose excitement in life is stenographer.
No, my excitement is not. Well, it is stenographer because I like to write down things. I like to write down things that are important.
I see.
Because I can't remember them, so then I can access them later.
All right.
And
Thank you.
Just one little piece of adding this into of where you're. Oh, no, same question. If you extend love to people, even the wildest creatures change. I think that somehow they change, even if they don't change the way you want them to.
If you want to change anything in your world, change yourself. You will take yourself to a reality in which you are then dealing with the versions of those things that already exist in that reality. They do not change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Good day, Bashar.
And you good day.
How are you doing?
Perfect. And you?
Where are you hanging out at?
I am in my ship, thank you.
Oh, great. Love to hear that. My question is sun gazing.
Sun gazing.
Yes, it's a new thing I've come across, ancient, I guess it's an ancient practice. This gentleman's going around talking about staring at the sun between the hours, an hour before after sunrise, and somehow the sun rays open up the pituitary and hypothalamus gland, and it activates like a solar charge in the brain, and that if you do this for 9 months, your body can completely live without food. And I'm just wondering if you've heard anything about this.
We understand what is being said because of the different degrees of polarization of light as it comes through the atmosphere at different angles, having different vibratory effects upon the body in different ways, depending on the state of the person to begin with. It will not work for everyone.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay. And collectively, for all of us, this question is about our getting where we want to get to our dreams. If we have a place we're trying to get to, and as you said to one lady, you can't reach that because your belief system isn't there.
Yes.
Are we supposed to just climb a stairway to that, just find something easy and then work towards that
It depends upon what belief systems you have. What we are simply saying is honor the beliefs you have and don't force yourself to step off what you believe to be a cliff unless you believe there will actually be a footing there. So the idea is to honor what belief systems you actually have. If you believe you can go faster, go faster. If you believe you need to take your time, take your time. If you believe you need assistance in a certain way, then allow yourself to have assistance. It's up to you.
What happens if you don't really know what you want?
The point that we talk about when we talk about following your excitement can simply be followed on the simplest level of all. And that simply is, as we say, at any given moment you have available to you a number of different options of things you could do. All we're simply saying is that that moment make a decision which one contains the highest degree of excitement that you have the greatest degree of capability of taking action on, and take action on it. And the next moment, do the same. And the next moment, do the same. It is the thread of excitement that you need to follow. It doesn't have to be represented by a big overarching life career or project. At every given moment, different degrees of excitement come with different options that are presented to you. Pick the one that has the highest excitement that you have the greatest degree of capability of actually acting on. That's all you have to do.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Is there a Galactic Federation ship already in position and ready for disclosure, specifically in the Gulf of Mexico?
Over the Yucatan, yes.
Okay. And you have many followers in Europe, but they feel the greatest number of UFOs are happening in America. Why is that? Is it because of the environment or the energy here that it's not suitable for them?
No, it's because the United States, more than almost any other country, refuses to accept the reality of UFOs. Therefore, we have to show off more often that we're here.
Okay, and as your sensing goes, are we still on track to have contact within 5 years
Yes.
or open contact?
Yes.
Okay. And now that we've navigated ourselves to a timeline of open contact within the next 5 years, why is it important to continue with the Interstellar Alliance social experiment?
Because it will determine the way in which you experience open contact, making you more vibrationally compatible to experience open contact in certain ways rather than not being as vibrationally compatible with open contact and experiencing it in other ways. So it gives you more opportunity. The social experiment gives you more opportunity to experience a broader spectrum of ways in which you can experience open contact to your benefit.
And this person is saying that they attended the recent channel panel in Sedona, and while Bashar was speaking, they saw a smiling image of a female Sasani. Is she a consequential secret? And if so, who is she to this person or the
She
person
is
to
not a
her?
consequential secret. The person was perceiving the idea of my colleague that we have referred to as Anima, a social engineer, who is involved in first contact and will be, along with other social engineers from my society, involved after open contact in helping Earth understand planetary management. So the person was simply capable of perceiving the energy of my colleague, that female Sasani being known as Anima by you, in connection with the fact that we're getting closer and closer to open contact, and therefore you're more capable of sensing the presence of all who are connected to the idea of being a first contact specialist, which is also a type of social engineer.
And then also, I think this is going to be the last question. In your recent previous transmission, a viewer asked you how far your ship was above Sedona. And for the first time I've ever heard you answer this question, you answered no comment. Are you allowed to give us more information behind this comment, or are we really that close to open contact?
You are very close. That is all I can say at the moment.
Okay, maybe there's one more here we can do. I heard a Pleiadian channeling say that they are not ascended beings and are just like us. They make mistakes, experience heartbreak and unrequited love, get impatient, etc. However, when I hear you speak, it seems the Sasani are ascended compared to us and don't make mistakes or get impatient. Is that true? And can you explain this difference and why the Pleiadians would send such a message?
That is a misinterpretation to some degree. Yes, Pleiadians can make mistakes in the sense that you understand that term, but they don't relate to them as mistakes. They relate to them in the way that we do, as simply new information that can be applied in given situations. They don't have the idea of unrequited love. They do not experience that in that way. Can they be sad? Yes, they can be. But they don't really experience things in the way that that person is describing. That's a little bit of filtering coming through the human persona. But the idea is they are certainly of a higher vibration than many people on your planet. If you want to say they are ascended because they are on a higher frequency, then certainly you can say that. But they are more similar to you than we are. They are, again, your genetic cousins. They are very much like you in many ways, but they are the fourth density version and therefore are more like what humanity is evolving into as physical beings in a fourth density state. So, no, it's not as pronounced as the way that was described in terms of what they experience emotionally, but they are a little bit more like you. They can experience a little bit more of a range of emotions in that sense. Something that you can relate to more easily. Yet they are still seemingly, from your perspective, more advanced in their emotional qualities.
Okay, and I'm going to slip one more in here. When there is first contact, do we physically need to be where it is physically occurring, Or can we somehow be able to experience it telepathically, holographically? And basically, is first contact going to involve hearing communication telepathically as opposed to actually having someone speak to you in your language?
For the most part, yes. Your people will experience open contact on many different levels in many different ways, regardless of where you are. And generally speaking, again, if you are more vibrationally compatible in certain ways with certain beings who will be present in open contact, you will usually synchronistically find yourself exactly where you need to be to experience it in whatever way is relevant for you. So don't worry about it. You won't miss it if that's what you're concerned about.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Bashar. We really appreciate all your helpful information.
Our deep appreciation to all of you as well. And now we would encourage you to become very relaxed, breathe easily, calmly, let go of the cares of the day, and prepare yourselves for a beautiful, calming, releasing, and behaviorally changing meditation. All right, so now we will allow you to allow yourselves to become relaxed, let go of the cares of the day, breathe deeply and easily, and allow yourselves to focus inwardly on the idea of letting go of consequential secrets and feeling the relief and the release, no longer carrying the burden and the weight of that secret, no longer worrying about the idea of exposure, letting the past be the past, taking a deep breath, and with open eyes looking to the horizon, to what you call the future, of higher frequency energy, of joy, of love, of light, of freedom, of open contact, changing the behavior, putting it behind you. You know that the rewards that will come to you will be much greater than holding on to whatever it is you think is a benefit of continuing the behavior of a consequential secret. Open up to receive that when you let go of the stress that is in your bodies of holding on to the secret, you open yourself up to the possibility of being able to receive higher vibrations that will be far more rewarding than anything you've ever experienced by continuing the behavior of your secret, which you may think creates beneficial experiences for you, and to some degree might have, but will pale by comparison to the benefits you will receive by freeing yourself and your body of the energetic and physical stresses of carrying the burden of the secret with you. Knowing that you are free in that way, that there are no repercussions for you or anyone else of a negative nature by changing that behavior, that you can move forward freely and even actually experience, in certain ways, even more ability than was allowed in the behavior that you were exhibiting. We will not go into detail about what that means exactly, but you will actually find more freedom in a certain way, not the same way, but in a certain way that will allow you to be more your true self and interact with others in a more true self way by claiming that particular station for yourself in a higher frequency energy, in a more relaxed fashion, in ways of connection that will be more natural for you and will bring in more experiences of joy, effortlessness, connection, companionship, and allow you to experience more of the companionship that will come to you from the extraterrestrials that will be involved in open contact. Allow yourself to move forward in a transparent way. Breathe in the feeling of freedom that this will afford you. And breathe out the sigh of release. That you no longer have this weight upon your shoulders. That you can answer honestly to anyone who may ask, no, this is not who I am. I am moving forward. Knowing that they also cannot pursue whether or not you used to behave that way. For again, they will understand the other side of the coin is that they will reap upon themselves the consequence of pursuing the past. Be free. Step forward. Move forward. Allow your body to relax. Allow it to open up. Allow your heart to expand, your mind to expand, and more of your soul to expand and express itself through your physical personality. Do not fear. Do not feel lack. Do not feel loss. All of these things belong in the past. They will not travel forward with you if you truly understand how much you will be capable of expanding, how much you will be capable of receiving, how much joy you will be capable of experiencing, and freedom and light and love by no longer exhibiting the behavior that perpetuates the consequential secrets. And as you see in your society, secrets come to light, and the ability and freedom that comes with it that allows you to take new courses, new paths in life, that allows you to feel the connections that you are making and perpetuating along your life path when you congregate in astral form. You have all planned this all out. Now it is time to do so. For these secrets will come out if they continue. Allow yourself to be free of that worry, free of that burden, free of that probability. Unshackle yourself. Be free. Continue to breathe deeply and understand the importance of what we have discussed today. No more secrets of this nature. Breathe easily, float freely. And in this new paradigm and in this new vibration, come to us so that we may come to you, so that we may together create a new reality of unlimited potential in happiness, joy, ecstasy, love, and light. Our unconditional love to you all. Welcome home. Avea. Good day.
I want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Once again, we take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you, first of all, for creating this transmission with us this day of your time. Once again, each and every time, your civilization co-creates these transmissions with our civilization. We are afforded an opportunity to see and experience through each and every one of you that many more perspectives within creation, and this expands our understanding of the infinite. So we thank you for this gift. We would like to begin this transmission with the following idea that we will call negotiation and resolution. Now, many times in conversations on your planet, as we have observed your people, there will be opportunities over and over and over again that will call for what you call negotiation and resolution. In many cases, because of the portions of your consciousness that have been trained within you to be hidden, there will sometimes be agendas within you that you will not even necessarily consciously know about, so that when you go about the business of negotiating for what you believe is supposed to be the resolution, you may find yourself at odds with the individuals you are negotiating with, because you may be on one particular track, as you say, thinking that you are both going in the same direction, when in fact you are even sometimes heading in opposite directions, because you may not necessarily be aware of what your own hidden agendas are and what it is you actually think you're negotiating for, what kind of an outcome or resolution you think you're supposed to have, may be diametrically opposed to the belief systems and definitions and resolutions that the other individual or individuals believe they are supposed to have. Now, sometimes, of course, many of you know you have different agendas, but will, for one reason or another, again, usually because of emotional hidden agendas, insist on sticking to the kind of resolution you desire. In fact, many times demand, and will not necessarily accept that a resolution has been created unless, to put it simply, you get your way. The idea, however, is to understand that because many of these hidden agendas exist, and because many of these hidden agendas will color the way in which you go about creating a so-called resolution, you may find, of course, that you will not come to a resolution because of that coloration. The idea in all negotiations, in all desire for resolution, is to really focus on the idea of resolution itself as a concept before you focus on the idea of exactly how specifically such a resolution must be accomplished. In other words, if you make not your own agenda the priority, but the idea of coming to a resolution at all the priority, that is your primary concern, that you do, in fact, come to some kind of resolution, no matter how you get there, then by allowing the idea, the concept, the desire for resolution itself to be primary, you can allow the concept of resolution to guide the methodologies and guide the details about how you come to the resolution, rather than making the resolution subservient and, in a sense, secondary to the idea of what you think you're supposed to get out of it. When you focus on the idea that the primary reason for being in the negotiation is to come to a resolution somehow, that the resolution is paramount, then that desire, that focus, will help you search for more ways to achieve a resolution than you might otherwise have been willing to look at, because you may have been focused on your own hidden agenda, which in many cases, by definition, would be relatively limited as far as all the different ways that a resolution could be created. So focus on the resolution itself as the main goal of any negotiation, that coming to a resolution is the primary agenda, regardless of how you get there. And you will find yourself with that in mind, first of all, having a common point with the other individual. If you can both agree that coming to a resolution is more important exactly than how you get there, you're already in agreement on something. And that is a good beginning to any negotiation and any resolution. We thank you for allowing us to reflect this concept to you at this time and to share with you our perspective on this particular matter. Again, it is always up to you as to whether or not to pay attention and or apply this information. We are only sharing with you what works for our civilization and leaving it up to you to decide what works for you. But I do, from experience in our world, know that this will aid and assist and accelerate any and all negotiations and resolutions that you may actually desire to undertake. If you will, but be willing to apply this methodology and this principle and this priority in that fashion. Once again, we thank you, and in return for the gift that you are giving our civilization in allowing us to communicate with you through this window in this way at this time, I ask in return, in what way may I and my civilization now be of service to you?
Next future or two, what do you expect to play out? As far
I don't
as
expect anything.
what can you see to play out as far as business goes
On your world?
in my life?
In your life specifically?
Yes.
Well, what are you excited to do? It must be representative of your excitement. If it is going to be something that will play out in a way that is beneficial to you. Yes?
Yes.
Well, what would you like to act on?
Make more money.
To make more money? That's what you want the business to be about?
No, actually I don't.
Well, thank you. So you see, you have said something that's actually not representative of your excitement. You've just described nothing more than a side effect. What actually excites you to do?
Help people.
In what way does it excite you to do so?
See them happy.
By doing what?
Well, whatever makes them happy.
Which would be what? You are allowed to determine specifically in what way you would like to participate that might give them an opportunity to choose to be happy. So is there some particular methodology or expression that would be representative of your happiness?
Not that I can think of right now.
All right, well then when you think of it, act on it to the best of your ability with absolutely no insistence on what the outcome ought to look like. Yes?
Yes.
That's how it works. And the idea of being supported is to relax your definition of abundance so that money can be there when it needs to be, but so that other forms of abundance can be there when money isn't necessarily the path of least resistance.
But let's say you're really happy playing basketball every day.
All right.
But you can't support.
How do you know?
So you just have to act on faith.
You act on knowledge that by acting on what is your highest excitement at any given moment, which probably won't necessarily mean you're playing basketball every day, let the excitement organize what will actually work for you every day, because excitement is the organizing principle. But nevertheless, whatever it is, if it is truly the most exciting thing you can do at every moment, to the best of your ability, with no assumption of the outcome, something will happen synchronistically to give you an opportunity to be supported by the things that you're doing that are representative of your excitement.
I see. So just go with the flow.
Let me give you a story. You may or may not have heard this story before, but it is something that occurred to someone on your planet, so you will understand that I'm not just making up an idea. This is something that actually worked for a physical person on your planet, and this will act as an illustration of what we are discussing. Did you hear us tell the story about the mother that loved to tell stories to her children?
No.
This mother, her greatest joy in life was telling stories to her children, making stories up for them. It was so exciting to her to do this that she made fantastic stories. Her imagination knew no bounds, and her children were enthralled, mesmerized by the stories that she would create, because so free was her imagination. And so excited was she to tell these stories and make them up. The stories were so thrilling that the children started to invite their own friends over to listen to the stories. The stories were so thrilling that the friends of her children started to invite their parents over to tell the stories. The stories were so thrilling that the parents started offering to pay her to come to groups to tell stories. Now, many people on your planet would have thought that a mother just telling stories to her children would never be a way that she could possibly support herself. Yet that's exactly what happened. Because she was willing to act on her excitement and to know that in some way, shape, or form, her ability to continue to express her highest excitement would be supported in whatever way that needed to be it money or be it other forms of abundance.
So the idea, however, is that on any given day, to use your example, the most exciting thing you might find that you would like to do might be to play basketball. However, you may also find that in the same day, suddenly, the excitement to play basketball may wane. And when it then wanes and lowers and lessens, you may look around at all the opportunities available to you at that moment and say, well, all right, the excitement has kind of gone out of that idea, but where has it gone? What now is the most exciting thing I could act on out of all the options available to me at this moment? Maybe that at that moment you will find that you are hungry, and thus then having lunch or having lunch with a friend would be the most exciting thing you can imagine doing. Act on it to the best of your ability, with no assumption or insistence or expectation as to what the outcome should be. Just act on it to the best of your ability if that is the thing that actually contains the highest excitement at that moment. Because you never know where it's actually going to lead you. But you will know, generally, that it will always lead you to another circumstance and situation that will provide you the opportunity to continue to act on your highest excitement and allow your excitement to expand. You see, excitement is not only the driving engine of your life, but it is the organizing principle of your life. And it is the complete toolkit of your life. And when you act on it knowing that that's what it is, you will know that no matter what winding path it may lead you on, it is always going to be the quickest path because it's the path of least resistance. And it will always lead you into the situations and circumstances and synchronistic encounters with people that are going to be the encounters and the timings that actually work best for you and will bring to you other opportunities and open other doorways for other expressions of your excitement. This is a self-fulfilling kit. That's how it works. At every given moment, step by step, on whatever scale it occurs, just choose the opportunity made available to you by your life that contains the highest excitement. Act on it to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can till you can take it no further, with no assumption or insistence or expectation as to what the outcome ought to be. And when you are done with that, then choose the next most exciting thing that your life presents to you as an opportunity you have the ability to act on. In coming to this conversation today, were you not acting on your excitement?
That was the most exciting thing.
Then that's all you need to keep doing, yes?
Yes.
When you leave this conversation, you will look and say, there are a number of opportunities available to me. I can go here, I can go there, I can do this, I can do that. Out of all the options that you are aware of, pick the one that feels most exciting, that you have the greatest ability to act on. And act on it. And just keep doing that. And that's all you need to do. When we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement, it doesn't have to be expressed as a career, a project, or any long-term arrangement. We mean literally moment to moment to moment. Every moment you're offered options. I can leave, I can go, I can stay, I can eat, I can read, I can jump, I can walk, I can play, I can go to the movies, I can do this, I can drive my car, I can fly, I can go here, I can go there. Pick the one that is the most exciting one you have some ability to take action on, and take action as far as you can. And that's as far as you need to take it. And then act on the next most exciting thing, and the next, and the next, and the next, in the same way, one after another, step by step, until the end of the day when you feel that you are excited about going to sleep because you're tired, and you will know that whatever didn't get done that day didn't need to be done. Because excitement, as we said, is not only the driving engine in the toolkit, it's the organizing principle. And if you're always acting on it fully, truly, to the best of your ability, with no expectation for what the outcome ought to be, then it will show you exactly in the course of any given day how many things need to be acted upon. And what doesn't get acted upon didn't need to be acted upon that day. That's how it works. It's a complete kit. Trust it. Act on it. All right?
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes.
And when you do that, if there then is an expression, a broader expression, a bigger expression of your excitement, a career, a project, what have you, by just acting on the little steps, they will lead you to the bigger opportunities, because all excitement is connected. It doesn't matter what package the excitement comes in. It's not about how it looks. As you people on your planet say, you cannot judge a book by the cover. So don't assume that just because something doesn't look like you expected it to look, if it actually contains the excitement, act on it, because the excitement is telling you that it's actually connected to any other expression of your excitement that would also come to you, and it may lead you there in an unexpected way. Again, it doesn't matter if your path is winding. If it's the path of least resistance, the path that's true for you, which you would know it is by simply acting on the excitement that it brings you, then it's actually the quickest path. Even if there is a path that is shorter and straighter, if it's not the path of least resistance, it will be the more difficult and longer path than one that may be many times longer and much more winding. But if it's the path of least resistance, it will actually be the quicker path, because there's no resistance. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Then at this timing, we will express our deep appreciation and gratitude to each and every one of you for the co-creation of this interaction.